Now, Laurie, we've got here a very black bottle which just says Woven. Experience #8. Whisky Makers, Leith. Blended Scotch whisky. This is 50 cl bottle, and this one is bottled at 46.6% volume.
What's going on?
It's not it's not an aggressive sell.
No, definitely not. I think Woven they're quite a relatively new kind of blenders or whiskey makers, as you say, based in Leith. Their priority is all about the liquid. I think they will be quite upfront about the fact that their packaging is not expensive. It's not, in a huge oak presentation case. Their mission is to reinvent blended whiskey and to reposition it and to draw people into it and not to dismiss all blended whiskey as being simple and to be used as a mixer. They're really pushing the boundaries in terms of blended whiskey.
I haven't met them, and they've already achieved a high reputation for their approach. I haven't met the guys yet, and I mean I so admire the mission. Blended Scotch whisky has sort of gradually been seen as the poor relation of although it still amounts to sort of about 90% of the malt whisky made goes into blends, and it is the backbone of the Scotch whisky industry. But it's sort of been kind of, with all the popularity of malt, it's sort of been shrunken into the background to some extent by so-called connoisseurs. I adore blended Scotch, and I drink blended Scotch, as everybody knows who follow me, for pleasure. I haven't tasted it. I think I have tasted it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, the thing I like about Woven is they're not kind of restricted by thinking, right, we need to create an 8-year-old expression or a 10-year-old expression, or we need a port cask finish or whatever. So each of their expressions they refer to as an experience.
Yes,
so this is Experience #8, which is effectively their peated
so
one.
They're fiddling around, trying things out, and then if they think this particular one works, then they'll release a small
Absolutely.
amount.
I think they appreciate that whiskey can be enjoyed in different ways. So there will be some that perhaps have a high malt content that are very complex and quite demanding, but then there'll be others which are perhaps designed to be watered down or drank with ice or mixed or whatever. So this one we've picked today is their peated expression. Thing I find interesting about this is that there are no Islay components in the whiskey
Really?
at all. So it's obviously when we move on to tasting, we should be picking up some of that, maybe not iodine and tarry rope or whatever, but there will be a pronounced smokiness to it. But none of the ingredients in the whiskey, malt or grain, come from the island of Islay, which is obviously famous for smoky whiskey. So we can only speculate where it's come from. Maybe a distillery like Ardmore, which produces a peated spirit.
Highland Park.
Highland Park, or perhaps somewhere like Loch Lomond, who are very experimental and can do different things in different ways. So it's very curious. Obviously, no mention of age either. Smoky whiskey is at its most intense and at most raw at a younger age. So it's who knows? Maybe they've kept it young. Maybe they've made it mature.
And it's got a bit of colour. So we may be thinking of a dash of European oak.
Potentially on the nose. Are we picking up smoke straight away? What do we think?
No, but it's there. It's very subtle. It's there in the background. The top notes. I think it probably needs to drop water. It's a very slight prickle.
It's definitely not a smoky slap in the face like you get with Lafroig at Ardbeg. It reminds me of like a Highland Park smoke, perhaps. It's there and it's noticeable, but it's
actually it's more obvious than Highland Park. It's sort of moving forward. No, I'm thinking Kalila, but because they're not using Islay. I'm thinking smoky bacon crisps.
You know,
what I mean?
frazzles. Well, lot of frazzles in a glass. It's great stuff.
It is there, isn't it? It really is. And there's a sweetness to it. So now I'm thinking of glazed smoked pork.
There's heaps and heaps on the nose, and I think for anybody who says, you know, blended whiskey can never compete with single malt in terms of the spectrum of flavours, just smell this.
But you know, the
there's so
interesting
much
thing,
going
Laurie,
on.
is that the theory of blending is that this is remarkably, you know, aromatic for a blend, because the theory of blending is that, you know, you bring together all the components, all the different characteristics from particularly different malt whiskies, and then grain whiskey is the base, and it combines together in the thing which they call the integrated flavour complex.
Okay.
And so really, when you're nosing it particularly, you kind of get much more than just whiskey, do you know?
Yeah.
Now, in the mouth, and I haven't tasted this yet, I'm going to have a sip of this water first. It's remarkably good.
It's great. It's great.
It's got big smoke in the finish. Lovely texture, sweetness, and then that hammy, smoked ham mid palate. Not much, tiny bit of saltiness, and then smoke in the end. Wow.
It's
That's
good. It's
really
bags of flavour.
extraordinary.
Coastalness for me, there's not too much there at all. It's a very sweet smoke. Almost reminds me of kind of cigar smoke.
Well, I must say,
very,
I'm
very
astonished. I really am astonished. And I wonder where on earth they've got their components, their fillings from. You know, it's big smoke.
Yeah.
And if it's not Islay, Lord knows. I mean,
They've stumped Charlie McLean. Who knows ever? No, I think it's not too much. There's been whiskies I've tried before, and they've been aggressively marketed as this is a smoky whiskey, and it's too much, and it's just imbalanced, and it's.
Well, I know exactly what you mean. You know, I won't mention any brand names, but the some which are really aggressively smoky, and they're coarse. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
They're sure they're smoky or smoky medicinal, but they're coarse. They lack any subtlety. You know, this is a very nicely balanced whiskey.
Yeah, it's
And
got
it's smoky, but it's a sort of polite smokiness.
It's got enough body to it to handle the smoke, and I think that's what I've experienced with those whiskies that we mentioned. It's bags and bags of smoke, but a very thin or very understated rest of it, and it just doesn't work. This is everything's in
Water
harmony
thins
for me.
it out. I think it's frankly for me, I think it's probably better straight, but for its impact.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to the Woven boys,
well
I
done,
must
Woven.
say.
And this is it's a remarkable whiskey, and it's with it being a blend, it's so affordable for one thing, but also approachable in the same way as well, with that slight.
Good on them.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Well done, Woven.
All strength to them.
A huge success. Yeah, great stuff.